The rain had stopped an hour ago, but the streets of Lagos still glistened with water. Grace sat under the bridge on Broad Street, her thin wrapper pulled tight around her shoulders. She was 19 years old, though most people would have guessed she was younger. Hunger had a way of making people look small. She watched the evening traffic crawl past. Expensive cars, people in nice clothes heading home to warm houses and hot food. Grace had not eaten since yesterday morning, when a kind woman at the market had given her 2 plantains that were too soft to sell. Her stomach growled. She pressed her hand against it and closed her eyes. Grace had been living on the streets for 8 months now. After her mother died from the sickness and her father disappeared, leaving behind only debts, the landlord had thrown her out. She had tried to find work, but who would hire a girl with no education past primary school? A girl with no family, no references, no place to stay. So she lived under the bridge. She washed cars at traffic lights for 20 naira here, 50 naira there. She ran errands for market women. She collected plastic bottles to sell. Some days she made enough for a meal, some days she did not. As the sun began to set, Grace stood up to find a better sleeping spot. The area under the bridge got crowded at night, and if you did not claim your space early, you might end up too close to the road, where the noise made sleep impossible. She was walking along the pavement when she saw it. A black leather wallet lying in a puddle near the gutter. Grace looked around. The evening rush had people moving quickly, heads down, thinking of home. No one seemed to notice the wallet. No one seemed to be searching for anything. She bent down and picked it up. The leather was soft and expensive. Water dripped from it. She opened it carefully. Her breath caught in her throat. Money, lots of money. She could see several thousand naira notes, maybe more. Her hands trembled as she counted. 50,000 naira, more money than she had seen in her entire life. There was also an ID card. The photo showed a middle-aged man with a stern face. His name was printed below, Mr. David Thompson. There was a business card too, Thompson Industries, Chief Executive Officer. Grace's mind raced. 50,000 naira, she could eat for months. She could rent a small room. She could buy soap and clean clothes and maybe even find proper work if she looked presentable. But the money was not hers. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory. Grace, no matter how hard life gets, never take what does not belong to you. God sees everything. Grace closed the wallet. Her hands were still shaking. She looked at the business card again. The office address was in Victoria Island. That was far, maybe an hour's walk, but she could get there. She should get there. This Mr. Thompson was clearly a wealthy man. He might give her a reward for returning his wallet. Even 1,000 naira would be a blessing. Grace tucked the wallet carefully into the small bag where she kept her few possessions and began walking. The streets of Victoria Island were different from what Grace was used to. Here, the buildings were tall and made of glass. Security guards stood at every gate. The cars were bigger, shinier, newer. She felt small and dirty among all this wealth. People looked at her with suspicion. A security guard at one building shooed her away when she tried to ask for directions. But finally, after asking several people and receiving many cold stares, she found it. Thompson Industries, a massive building with the name written in gold letters above the entrance. Grace climbed the steps. Her feet hurt from the long walk. A security guard stepped in front of her. "Where are you going?" he asked, his voice harsh. "Please, sir, I found Mr. Thompson's wallet. I want to return it." The guard looked her up and down, taking in her worn wrapper, her dirty feet, her tangled hair. "You found it," his voice was full of doubt, "or you stole it?" "No, sir, I found it on Broad Street. Please, I just want to return it." The guard grabbed her arm roughly. "Wait here, do not move." He spoke into his radio, and soon another guard appeared. They made her stand outside while they went into the building. Grace waited, the wallet still in her bag, her heart beating fast. After 20 minutes, the door opened and a man in an expensive suit came out. It was the man from the ID card, Mr. David Thompson. "You," he said, pointing at Grace, "where is my wallet?" "Here, sir." Grace pulled it out and offered it to him with both hands, the way her mother had taught her to show respect. Mr. Thompson snatched it from her. He opened it immediately and began counting the money. His face grew darker with each note. "There is money missing," he said coldly. "No, sir, I did not take anything. I brought everything that was inside." "You are a liar and a thief." Mr. Thompson's voice was loud now. People passing by stopped to watch. "There was 70,000 naira in this wallet. Now there is only 50,000. Where is my money?" "Sir, please, I did not take anything. There was only 50,000 when I found it. I promise you I—" "Guards, this girl has stolen from me. Call the police." "No, sir, please." Grace felt tears start to run down her face. "I did not steal anything. I was trying to help you. I walked all the way here to return your wallet. Please, sir, believe me." But Mr. Thompson was not listening. He was scrolling through his phone. "There was also a flash drive in this wallet, a green flash drive. Where is it?" "I did not see any flash drive, sir. Please, I am telling the truth." "Liar," Mr. Thompson shouted. "That flash drive contains information worth millions, my company's secrets. You have stolen it to sell to my competitors." "Sir, I do not even know what a flash drive is for. Please." But it was too late. A police car arrived. 2 officers got out. "Officer, this street girl stole my wallet," Mr. Thompson said. "She has stolen 20,000 naira and a flash drive containing sensitive company information. I want her arrested." The police grabbed Grace's arms. She tried to explain, tried to tell them she had only wanted to help, but no one listened. They threw her into the back of the police car. Grace spent 3 days in the police station. They locked her in a small cell with 5 other women. It was dark, and it smelled bad, and there was nowhere clean to sleep. The police officers questioned her over and over. Where was the money? Where was the flash drive? Who was she working for? Grace told them the truth until her voice was hoarse, but they did not believe her. Why would they believe a homeless girl over a wealthy businessman? On the 4th day, Mr. Thompson's lawyer came. He told the police that Mr. Thompson had decided to drop the charges. He had found the flash drive in his car, and he realized he had counted the money wrong. There had only been 50,000 naira in the wallet after all. The lawyer did not apologize. He just told them to release Grace. They let her go without a word. No one said sorry. No one acknowledged that they had locked up an innocent girl for 3 days. Grace walked out of the police station in the same dirty wrapper she had worn when they arrested her. She had not eaten properly in days. Her body ached from sleeping on the concrete floor. But worse than the hunger, worse than the pain, was the feeling in her heart. She had tried to do the right thing. She had tried to help. And this was what happened. As she walked back toward Broad Street, back to her spot under the bridge, Grace made a decision. Never again would she try to help rich people. They did not care about people like her. They only cared about their money and their possessions. If she ever found something valuable again, she would sell it. She would use the money to survive, because clearly, honesty got you nowhere. 1 month passed. Grace's life continued as before. She washed cars. She ran errands. She collected bottles. Some days were better than others. She tried not to think about what had happened with Mr. Thompson, but the memory stayed with her like a bruise that would not heal. 3 days in that cell. 3 days of being called a thief when she had only tried to help. It was a Thursday afternoon when she found the phone. Grace had just finished washing a car, and the woman had paid her 100 naira. It was a good amount, and Grace was feeling almost happy as she walked along the street looking for her next customer. That was when she saw it. On the ground near a parked car, a phone, not just any phone, but one of those expensive smartphones, the kind that cost millions of naira. Grace's heart started beating fast. She looked around. The street was busy, but no one seemed to be searching for anything. No one was looking down at the ground with a worried expression. She picked up the phone quickly and slipped it into her bag. Her mind was already working. A phone like this, She could sell it for maybe 1 million naira, maybe even 1.5 million naira. That was enough money to change her life. She could rent a room for several months. She could buy decent clothes. She could look for proper work. Grace hurried away from the spot, clutching her bag close to her body. She knew a man at Computer Village who bought phones, no questions asked. She would go there tomorrow. She was halfway back to the bridge when the phone rang. The sound made her jump. She pulled the phone out of her bag and looked at the screen. "Office," it said. Grace stared at it. The phone rang and rang, then it stopped. A minute later, it rang again. This time Grace answered. She did not know why. Maybe curiosity, maybe something else. "Hello," she said quietly. "Oh, thank God," a man's voice, breathless with relief. "You found my phone. I have been calling and calling. Where are you? Can I come and collect it?" Grace said nothing. The man sounded genuinely worried, genuinely grateful. "Please," the man continued, "this phone has everything on it. My work, my contacts, photos of my children. I will give you a reward, of course, a good reward. Just please tell me where you are." Grace thought about Mr. Thompson, about the wallet, about the 3 days in the cell. I have to go," she said, and ended the call. She turned off the phone and sat down on the pavement, her head in her hands. The smart thing to do was sell the phone. That was what she had decided, was it not? Never again would she try to help. Never again would she trust that doing the right thing would lead to anything good. But the man's voice kept echoing in her head. The relief when he realized someone had found his phone. The way he had said, "Photos of my children." Grace thought about her own mother. Before she died, her mother had one precious photograph of Grace as a baby. It was her most treasured possession. If someone had stolen that photo, her mother would have been heartbroken. "Why does this have to be so hard?" Grace whispered to herself. An old woman selling oranges nearby heard her. "What is hard, my child?" Grace looked up. The woman had a kind face, wrinkled and warm. "Nothing, Ma," Grace said. But the woman kept looking at her. "You look troubled, like you are carrying a heavy load in your heart." Grace did not know why, but suddenly she found herself telling this stranger everything, about the wallet, about Mr. Thompson, about the arrest, about the phone in her bag and how she did not know what to do. The old woman listened without interrupting. When Grace finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "My dear, let me tell you something. When people do bad things to you, it is easy to become like them. It is easy to say, they hurt me, so I will hurt others. But when you do that, you are letting them win. You are letting them turn you into something you are not." "But Ma, I tried to help, and see what happened to me." "I know, my child, I know, the world is not always fair. Good people suffer, bad people prosper, but you know what? You have to decide who you want to be, not based on what others do to you, but based on who you are inside." The woman reached out and touched Grace's hand. "That man who cheated you, he has to live with being that kind of person. But you do not have to become like him. You can choose to still be good, still be honest, even when it costs you, even when it hurts." Grace felt tears on her cheeks. "Return the phone, child," the old woman said gently, "not for a reward, not because you expect anything good to come from it, but because that is who you are. You are Grace, and grace means doing good even when you do not have to." Grace wiped her eyes. She took out the phone and turned it on. There were dozens of missed calls, all from office or wife or home. She called the number marked office. The man answered on the first ring. "Hello, hello, do you have my phone?" "Yes, sir, I found it. I am on Adeniji Adele Road near the bridge. I will be there in 20 minutes. Please, please wait for me." "I will wait, sir." 20 minutes later, a silver car pulled up near where Grace was sitting. A man got out. He was maybe 40 years old, wearing a simple shirt and trousers. His face was tired but kind. "Are you the one who called me?" he asked. Grace stood up. "Yes, sir." She pulled out the phone and handed it to him. The man took it, and his whole body seemed to relax with relief. Thank you so much," He checked the phone quickly, scrolling through it. Everything is here, nothing is missing, thank you. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. Please, let me give you a reward. Is 5,000 naira okay, or do you need more? 10,000. Grace shook her head. I do not need a reward, sir. I am just happy the phone is back with you. The man looked surprised. He looked at Grace more carefully now, noticing her worn clothes, her thin frame, her bare feet. You look like, please, do not be offended, but you look like you could use the money. I could use it, sir, but I did not return your phone for money. I returned it because it is yours. The man was quiet for a moment. Then he said, What is your name? Grace, sir. Grace, I am Mr. James Cole. Can I ask you something, Grace? Why are you on the street? Where is your family? Grace hesitated, but there was something about this man, about the way he looked at her, that made her feel safe. So she told him about her mother's death, about her father leaving, about the landlord, about living under the bridge. Mr. Cole listened to everything. His face grew sadder as she spoke. When she finished, he said, Grace, I own a company, Cole Electronics. We make computer parts. I am always looking for honest people to work for me. Honest people are hard to find. Grace's heart started to beat faster. Now I cannot make you a supervisor right away, Mr. Cole continued. That would not be fair to the people who have been working for me for years, but I can offer you a job, a real job, starting as a cleaner in the office. The pay is 40,000 naira per month, and if you work hard, if you show that you are reliable, you can move up in the company. Does that sound good to you? Grace could not speak. She could only nod, tears streaming down her face. Good, but first you need a place to stay. I have a small room attached to my office building. It is meant for the security guard, but he prefers to go home at night. You can stay there, free of charge. It has a bed, a bathroom, everything you need. You can move in tonight if you want. Sir, Grace's voice came out as a whisper. Why are you doing this for me? Mr. Cole smiled. You know, last month I lost my wallet. Everything was in it. Money, credit cards, important documents. I never got it back. The person who found it either did not care or they kept it. I lost so much time and money replacing everything. He looked at his phone, then back at Grace. But you, Grace, you could have sold this phone. I know you could have. You are living on the street. You need money desperately, but you returned it anyway. Do you know how rare that is? How precious? Grace thought about Mr. Thompson, about how she had returned his wallet and he had called her a thief. As if reading her mind, Mr. Cole said, I do not know what experiences you have had with other people. Maybe they were not kind to you. Maybe they did not appreciate your honesty. But I do. I appreciate it very much. And I believe that someone with your character deserves a chance. That night, Grace moved into the small room behind Mr. Cole's office. It had a real bed with clean sheets, a bathroom with running water, a small kitchen area with a stove. Grace stood in the bathroom and looked at herself in the mirror. She barely recognized the person looking back. When was the last time she had seen herself in a clean mirror? She took a long shower, watching the dirt and grime of 8 months on the street wash away. Mr. Cole had given her money to buy new clothes, toiletries, food. Tomorrow she would go shopping. Tomorrow she would start her new job. But tonight, she just wanted to stand under the hot water and feel clean. The first month at Cole Electronics was hard. Grace had to learn everything, how to use the cleaning supplies properly, how to mop the floors without leaving streaks, how to clean the bathrooms so they sparkled, how to dust the computers without damaging them. But Grace worked harder than anyone had ever worked. She arrived early. She stayed late. She made sure every corner of the office was spotless. The other workers noticed. They saw how dedicated she was. Some of them were kind, helping her learn. Others were suspicious, wondering why Mr. Cole had hired this girl from the street. But Grace did not let the suspicious ones discourage her. She remembered what the old orange seller had said. She was choosing who she wanted to be. Mr. Cole noticed too. Every week, he would check on her, ask how she was doing, if she needed anything. He was not just her boss. He was more like a guardian, making sure she was okay. After 3 months, Mr. Cole called Grace into his office. Grace, you have been doing excellent work. Everyone tells me the office has never been cleaner, but I have been watching you, and I think you are capable of more than just cleaning. Grace sat up straighter. I want to train you in administration, filing, organizing documents, answering phones, managing schedules. It is more complicated than cleaning, but I think you can learn it. And the pay is better. 60,000 naira per month. What do you say? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So Grace began her new role. It was difficult at first. She had to learn how to use a computer, something she had never done before. She had to learn how to answer the phone professionally, how to organize files, how to manage Mr. Cole's calendar. But just as she had with cleaning, Grace threw herself into the work. She stayed late to practice on the computer. She wrote down everything she learned in a notebook. She asked questions when she did not understand. 6 months later, she was one of the best administrative assistants in the company. A year after Grace had returned the phone, Mr. Cole called her into his office again. She sat down across from his desk, wondering what new task he had for her. Grace, he said, smiling, do you remember when I first offered you a job? I said I could not make you a supervisor right away. Grace nodded. Well, I think a year is long enough to wait. I have an opening for a supervisor in our inventory department. The job is to manage the team that keeps track of all our parts and supplies. Make sure everything is ordered on time, nothing gets lost, all the records are accurate. It is a big responsibility. The pay is 120,000 naira per month. Grace could hardly believe what she was hearing. But sir, I have only been here for a year. The other workers, they have been here much longer. They will be angry if you promote me over them. Grace, I promote people based on merit, not on how long they have been here. You are honest, you are hardworking, you are reliable, you pay attention to details. Those are exactly the qualities I need in a supervisor. And do you know what else? What, sir? You care about doing things right. You care about being fair. You care about treating people with respect. That is why I trust you to lead others. Mr. Cole leaned forward. 1 year ago, you could have sold my phone and used the money for yourself. No one would have blamed you. You were homeless, hungry, desperate, but you chose to do the right thing even though you had every reason not to. That told me everything I needed to know about your character. Grace felt tears in her eyes, good tears. So what do you say, Supervisor Grace? Will you accept the position? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I will work very hard. I will not let you down. I know you will not. As Grace left Mr. Cole's office, she thought about her journey. From sleeping under a bridge to becoming a supervisor in 1 year. It seemed impossible. She thought about Mr. Thompson and his wallet. That experience had been painful. It had made her want to give up on goodness, on honesty, on helping others. But then she thought about the old woman selling oranges, about her wise words, about choosing who you want to be. Grace had chosen. She had chosen to return the phone even when everything in her life told her to keep it, and that choice had changed everything. That evening, Grace walked back to the bridge on Broad Street, not to sleep there, but to find the old woman who sold oranges. She found her in the same spot, sitting with her tray of fruit. "Ma, do you remember me?" Grace asked. The old woman looked up and her face broke into a wide smile. "Grace, of course I remember you. Look at you, you are glowing. Something good has happened." Grace told her everything, about the job, about the promotion, about how her life had completely changed. The old woman clapped her hands together. "I knew it. I knew you had made the right choice that day. I could see it in your eyes. You are a good girl, Grace, a very good girl. Ma, thank you for your advice that day. If not for you, I do not know what I would have done." "Ah, my dear, I only reminded you of what was already inside you. You are the one who made the choice. You are the one who did the hard thing. Be proud of yourself." Grace reached into her bag and pulled out an envelope. Inside was 10,000 naira. "Ma, please take this. I want to give back some of what you gave to me." The old woman's eyes widened. Grace, this is too much. It is not too much, Ma. You helped me when I needed it most. Please accept it. The old woman took the envelope with shaking hands. Tears rolled down her wrinkled cheeks. Thank you, my daughter. God bless you. God will continue to lift you higher and higher. They hugged, these two women who had met by chance, but whose lives had touched in such a meaningful way. As Grace walked away, she felt a peace in her heart that she had not felt since before her mother died. The next Monday, Grace started her new position as supervisor. Some of the workers were happy for her, others were jealous and resentful, but Grace treated everyone with kindness and respect. She listened to their concerns. She worked alongside them when they were busy. She gave credit where credit was due. Slowly, even the resentful ones began to respect her. One day, about 3 months into her new role, Grace was working at her desk when Mr. Cole came to find her. Grace, I need you to come with me. There is someone I want you to meet. Grace followed him to the conference room. Inside was a man she recognized immediately, even though she had tried hard to forget his face. Mr. David Thompson. Grace froze, her heart started pounding. What was he doing here? Grace, Mr. Cole said, Mr. Thompson is a potential business partner. He wants to discuss a deal with our company, but before we talk business, he has something he wants to say to you. Mr. Thompson stood up. He looked uncomfortable, ashamed even. Miss Grace, he began, his voice very different from the harsh tone she remembered. I owe you an apology, a sincere and deep apology. Grace said nothing, she just waited. After that incident with my wallet, I found the flash drive in my car, just like my lawyer told you, but I also had my accountant check my records. There was only 50,000 naira in that wallet, exactly as you said. You told the truth the entire time, and I treated you horribly. I called you a thief. I had you arrested. I did not even thank you for returning my wallet. Mr. Thompson's voice cracked. I was so worried about my money and my company's secrets that I did not see you as a person. I did not see that you had walked all that way to return something that did not belong to you. I am ashamed of how I acted. Please forgive me. Grace looked at this powerful man, this billionaire, standing before her asking for forgiveness. A year ago, he had made her feel small and worthless. He had made her spend 3 days in a cell for trying to help him. She could hold onto that anger. She could refuse to forgive him. She would have every right. But Grace thought about who she had chosen to be. She thought about Grace, the thing she was named after, undeserved kindness. I forgive you, Mr. Thompson, she said quietly. Mr. Thompson's shoulders sagged with relief. Thank you so much. Mr. Cole spoke up. Mr. Thompson contacted me because he heard through business circles that I had hired a young supervisor named Grace who used to be homeless. He put 2 and 2 together and realized you were the same girl who had returned his wallet. He wanted to make amends. Mr. Thompson nodded. I want to do more than just apologize. I want to make things right. I am setting up a scholarship fund for young people who want to get an education but cannot afford it. I am calling it the Grace Foundation in your honor, and I would like you to be on the board of directors to help decide who receives the scholarships. Grace was speechless. You do not have to answer now, Mr. Thompson said. Think about it, but I hope you will say yes. I think someone with your integrity is exactly who should be helping me with this. After Mr. Thompson left, Mr. Cole put his hand on Grace's shoulder. I am proud of you, Grace. Not everyone would have forgiven him after what he put you through. He asked for forgiveness, Grace said simply. How could I say no? That night, in her small but comfortable room, Grace sat on her bed and thought about the past year and a half. She thought about the wallet and how returning it had led to pain. She thought about the phone and how returning it had led to blessing. She thought about how easily she could have given up on goodness after the first experience, how she could have become bitter and selfish and only looked out for herself. But she had not. She had chosen differently, and that choice had made all the difference. Grace pulled out her phone, the one Mr. Cole had given her for work, and typed a message to herself, something to read whenever life got hard again. Do good anyway, even when it hurts, even when people do not appreciate it, even when it costs you, because who you are is more important than what happens to you. She read the words over and over until she had memorized them. Then she turned off the light and went to sleep, grateful for her bed, grateful for her job, grateful for the people who had believed in her, and most of all, grateful that she had chosen to be Grace. Outside, the city of Lagos hummed and buzzed with life. Somewhere in that vast city, there were other girls like she had been, hungry, homeless, desperate. Grace made herself a promise. One day, when she had saved enough money, when she had risen even higher in her career, she would help them too. She would be for them what Mr. Cole had been for her, what the orange seller had been for her. She would show them that goodness still mattered, that honesty still had value, that grace, given and received, could change everything. But that was for the future. For now, Grace closed her eyes and smiled, knowing that tomorrow she would wake up, go to work, and continue building the life she had chosen for herself. A life of integrity, a life of purpose, a life of grace. What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? If you enjoyed this story, like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories.